Hi everybody, I'm Malcolm McCollum. I'm the Executive Director of St. Francis Tulsa Tough, and we are sitting here in the Ross Group headquarters with Warren Ross, who's not only one of our sponsors, but he's a cycling participant in the St. Francis Tulsa Tough. Warren, thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Look forward. Thank you for the opportunity, and look forward to the upcoming event.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, I'm going to get to the cycling question in a minute here, but I do have a question about your sponsorship activation. Mm-hmm. You've been a great sponsor of ours and sponsored the VIP hospitality tent for our sponsors, but you also have your own employee party on the rooftop of the building that we're sitting here, which was one of your renovations. How did you guys come about with the idea of having a rooftop party?
I think we got lucky in that we ended up with the right piece of property that turns out Friday night is one of the biggest events of Tulsa Tough Weekend. And so we ended up being in ground zero when we were located downtown. And part of our effort when we were deciding what to do with the building was let's do a rooftop. And at that time, the finish line was on 2nd Street. Right. So it was just natural to be up on the roof to have the best view of the finish line. But now it's turned into where we have a party on 3rd Street as well as on 2nd Street to enjoy the Friday night of Tulsa Tough.
So how many of your employees end up on the roof on Friday night in the Blue Dome District?
Oh, well, we have probably about 225 employees, so probably over 2/3 of the employees will be here, and we end up having a lot of customers and guests that end up coming in now. So probably throughout our office is probably 400 people through it in and out that evening that come in specifically for Tulsa Tough.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, great, kudos to them, and thank you for letting me up on the rooftop during the weekend and enjoy the festivities up there as well. I really enjoy it. So, okay, let me ask you about your cycling now. I know that you really only started riding about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, you really ramped it up. What was the inspiration for that increase?
Well, a couple of buddies that are having to retire out of marathoning has picked up cycling. Mm-hmm. My son is 16 now, and he's only got 2 years left of high school, so no longer am I having to be the bus driver for him. So with that free time, what do you do? How do you create a hobby that you think is going to be sustainable for the balance of your life?
Yeah.
And cycling was the one that was aligned with an interest of mine.
That's great. Well, I also happen to know that you have signed up this year at the St. Francis Tulsa Tough to take the ACE Challenge. Now, for those who don't know, the ACE Challenge is a very specific part of our St. Francis Tulsa Tough Grand Fondo, where certain people can elect to try to ride 100 miles in under 5 hours as a group supporting each other. So that's a 20-mile-an-hour average for 5 hours. That's huge. What inspired you to take on the ACE Challenge?
Well, I've been able to be maintaining a pretty good pace, not in a peloton, and I do recognize that I pick up about 30% of my energy savings by being in a peloton. So just kind of doing the math, it looks like I might be able to finish it, and I've been able to do a couple of centuries recently, and have been continually staying with the front group for a while. So it will be a challenge, but I'm crossing my fingers that I'm successful.
That's great. Leave it to an engineer to do the math. He's got it figured out. He's going to make that. He's going to get that coveted ACE jersey, a special jersey that only the successful participants in the ACE Challenge get. Warren, Thank you so much for your sponsorship and your time and what you're doing for Tulsa.
Yep.
I'm going to be in the command center on June 8th tracking you, and I will be there person at the finish line to help you pull on that championship ACE jersey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.